Hi folks, Jason here. In this video, going to be modeling a character from an image plane. It's the same one that I showed in class. You are welcome to use your own. The only thing I would add is to keep it simple, whatever it is that you use. Try and avoid, long clothing, things like that. Just keep it as simple as. Anyway, without further ado, let's crack on. I'm going to basically go into the orthographic view first. Let's go into the front orthographic view. I'm going to bring the image in. I'm going to press Shift and A, image reference. Go and find the image, which is there. My desktop, go add. Now I want to just shift that cube out of the way. Click onto the image there. I want to move it so the character is smack bang in the middle, like so. I'm going to copy this image plane now by going rotate Z minus 90. Looks like it didn't copy. Let me try that again. Shift and D. Rotate Z minus 90. There we go. And I'm just going to move these out like that. Now, I've got the front character already established. Now, I just want to move that cube and shift this character so it's basically in that center line there with the blue, and maneuver this more a bit anyway, a bit later. All right, let's bring the cube back into play. Now, the first part of this video, and I'm going to be doing this really in segments. I'm going to just concentrate on each part of the body, pause, and then allow you to kind of finish that bit and then continue going from there. So the video is going to be in segments. Can't see the image, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through to X-ray view so I can actually see it there. You can scale it down. And I just want to see what it looks like on the other side. So it's actually nowhere in view there, so we need to bring that back so it's actually over the side view of the character as well. So this is what you should be seeing here. Side view is kind of covering it. View is covering it there. Now, what we're going to do next is we're going to go into edit mode. I'm just going to highlight these vertexes, go to the move tool, and move the up. So basically, make sure that it's kind of covering the top and the bottom. Right, so let's make sure that it's all right on the other side. That's all looking all right. Now what we want to do is we want to add some subdivisions. So how we're going to do that is we're going to, I'm just going to tweak that in a little bit as well there. We're going to either use the loop cut tool on the side, which you'll find there, or best way is using the quick keys, which is Control and R. And we're going to place one there. So basically what we're going to do is place one, place, so I say place three on the front there, like so. And we'll have one going in the middle. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be, once we kind of establish this, I'm going to delete one half of this. So what that means is we're going to use the modifier key with the mirror to do the other side. It's a great time-saving little device. It'll definitely help us in the long run. If you want to just continue and just model, just with both sides, that's fine, but it will speed things up if you do that. So look at the other side. Again, I'm going to probably move this in a little bit, like so. Keep that as is because I'm going to need that geometry. And then, again, going to add some subdivisions, like so. So we've got something that looked like that. All right. And now we're ready to start giving it a little bit of shape. Before we do that, I'm going to delete it, as I mentioned earlier. So I'm going to go into press 3, which is the face key, and then go delete faces. So now I've got that. I'm going to go back into object mode. So now then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the modifier tab here. Click on that. Add modifier, generate. Now it's a little bit off at the moment. So what we're going to need to do is enable clipping. And then I'm just going to bring it to the right. So it's basically connecting up with the cube. What you don't want to see is any overlapping lines there, but that looks pretty much all right. I just go back into the edit mode. I'm not seeing anything at the moment, but that kind of looks to me like it's okay. All right, we're going to keep this tab open. We're not going to apply it. We're just going to keep it as is. And basically start giving it some shape. So I'm going to go into the vertex mode. Oops. Vertex mode. And G. Bring that down there. Probably just move that with move tool. Same thing with that. And you'll see there it's affecting the other side, which is great. Same thing with that. And same thing with this. G. Bring that up there. Might want to add another little subdivision in there as well. Now there will be other subdivisions that start going in as we progress, but we'll try and keep it basic for the time being. All right, that's not looking too bad. We've kind of got that part sorted. Now let's have a look at the side view. Side view is going to need a little bit more work. So again, I'm going to do a bit of maneuvering. Now I do want to kind of keep an area here for the shoulder. This is where we'll be extruding the arm out in the next segment of the video. So I'll probably want to move this up a wee bit to there. May even move this up a little bit as well. So we've got like a sort of square shape there. And one there. Something like that. So we've kind of got this area here that we can then extrude out from a little bit later, not right now. Okay, and then typically we're just going to start, I'll probably like put another subdivision in there as well. And just start maneuvering the vertexes. So you don't want them kind of overlapping or getting too close. So you can see there, that's if I start moving that in, that's going to get quite close. So I might just move that in a little bit. Say there. I just want enough room for the arm there. And then I'm going to start bringing these elements in here like that. Bring that in. And that's basically move your way along. You want to get the profile effectively of the with the character. Just moving that along, moving that down. And we will have a look in a minute because we want to make sure we're not going awry. That can easily happen with 3D modeling. You can end up thinking that you're okay, and it's like you're not okay. It's been like either you failed to kind of select one of the vertexes, and you find they've actually either been doing half of the model or only part of the model or that. So again, it's just good to be wary about things like that. With this, I'm tempted to maybe even move these down to say there. Might move this in a little bit. And that's looking all right there. And probably look to move these down like so. Move it in. What you don't want to have happen is you don't want the sort of vertexes all bunching up and the faces all bunching up. So let's have a look now and see what we're looking like. I'm just going to go to take the X-ray mode off. And that's not looking too bad. I can see there though it's missed that a little bit there. So we just need to kind of tidy that up a little bit. Just so it's not presenting a problem. Let's go back to the side view. So yeah, so we do actually need that part out. So I'm tempted just to, turn the X-ray back on. And let's have a look and maybe bring that forward. So ideally we do need like a lip there. So we'll probably do well to maybe select these vertexes here and bring them forward because they're going to form part of that kind of lip. Right, let's go and have a look without the X-ray mode on. So yeah, probably bring that forward as well. Something like that. And again, I'm not going to get too concerned about details because a lot of this is going to get smoothed out and it's also going to be remeshed. So not something to necessarily worry about too much. Apart from that, it's not looking too bad. All right, so we've kind of established that. I might just bring that forward a bit as well. I can see that's probably, that could potentially cause a bit of an issue there. Apart from that, I think we're looking all right. Now, there is something else as well. Let me just turn same back on the. I can see there's a bit of an issue going on there as well with that vertex. There we go. One of the things we can do as well, of course, is there's a really good tool called the Smooth tool here. And if I select A to select all the vertexes, select this tool, it'll start to smooth this out so it's less angular. So we don't want to lose too much of the detail that we've got so far because we're going to need that to kind of build on. But if I just move that now, it'll basically make it more organic. You see that it kind of pulls it into a more organic shape, which is really handy. It's really useful. And then after you've done that, you can kind of go back to the model and if need be, just give it some shape here and there. If I go back up to say the move tool and just sort of move it back into place, where you need it. Like so, move that in. Don't want to get too pedantic with it because we are going to be, as I mentioned before, we are going to be changing quite a bit of this. So that's looking all right. I'm fairly happy with that, with the general overall shape. I think that's looking pretty good. I think that that gives us a nice little end to this little section of the video. So in the next section, we're going to be looking at extruding the arms. So that'll be in the next part. See you then. Okay, so we're in the next part now where we're going to be extruding the arms. And again, you want to make sure that the character, or at least the geometry for the character, is aligned roughly with the illustration because we're going to be taking our cues from it. It's not absolutely completely the same, but roughly, particularly with things like this where you've kind of got these parts of the body where I'm going to be using like the face, for example. So if I just go and say press 3 and then select, say, that, you can probably see from the side, it's just getting the top of that shoulder there and then just down to the armpit. That's the bit that we need to see. So from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude. So I'm going to hit E, extrude, but not a lot. I'll stop there, rotate, scale, S for scale, and again go back to the vertex view. I'm going to go and bring this vertex down to say right about there. Do the same with this as well. And now I'm going to select, shift and select this as well, and extrude again. It's basically performing the same task over and over and over again. So, extrude, you can go G, grab, or use the move tool, rotate, scale, like so. We rotate it again just a little bit. And then same thing again. Extrude, rotate, V, grab, scale, S, G, and basically move it in that way. And then I'm going to probably just rotate a little bit and then E, extrude all the way down to there. We have another subdivision in here. Sorry. So Control and R there. And I'm just going to bring that in. All right, so same thing with the wrist. The rest of the arm's kind of looking okay. I might just bring that down a wee bit to there. Right, let's go and have a look at the other side as well. So it's going to be a little bit difficult to see the arm, particularly when you've got the body there. And I'm not too fussed about the fact that the arm isn't quite in alignment with this. It's not necessarily an issue, but if you wanted to kind of adjust it so it didn't have that bit of a bend in it, we can do that. But let's take care of this body first. So we've got this as a bit of an obstruction. One of the cool things we can do is we can actually make this disappear temporarily and then bring it back. And that's by basically selecting it all, pressing H to hide it, and then Alt H to bring it back. So I can show you as a demo. I just go and say select all of that there. It'll probably select part of the arm as well. It's going to zoom in a little bit. Control just to deselect that part of the arm. And I think that is pretty much it there. So it's just isolated the arm. And then all you need to do is just press H. And hey presto, all you have is your arm. Actually, it looks like it's left in part of the body as well. So let me just go back. So I'll press Alt and H to bring it back. You can see there, it's just missed part of the model there. So just hold down Shift and just select those. There we go. And then press H again. There we are. All right. And what that means is we're now free. If I kind of go to the side view, we can actually start to move this around. And we don't have the body getting in the way. So first of all, I want to look to maybe just highlight the entire thing and move that off. So bear in mind, it's still attached to the model. So you will have to just be mindful about that. And then what we can do is we can kind of say move that up or just leave it where it is. And then we can highlight these areas and bring that into shape. So basically create the bend, as it were. So rotate that a little bit. G. And I think that's got it there. So again, it's not entirely necessary if you don't want to do it, but if you want to kind of be a bit more precise, then it's quite a good way of doing it. And then when you're happy, all you need to do is press Alt and H. And hey presto, you've got the rest of the body back. It's going to go and select or deselect the X-ray. So you can see there where we've shifted it, it's moved it along. But you have got to be careful. You don't want to end up with part of it, moving in, the geometry moving in. But that's kind of looking all right to me. We can certainly use that the smooth tool on that to kind of smooth it out a little bit. We're not necessary at the moment. Maybe perhaps when we've done the hand as well in the next part of the video, we'll do that. We'll apply the whole thing. But that's it for this part of the video. In the next part of the video, we're going to be doing the hand. See you in the next part. Okay, so on to the next part where we're going to be creating the hand for the character. So I'm probably going to, again, make the body disappear and just keep the arm in view. So I'm going to go to X-ray view and just select again the main body and just check to make sure that I've not actually selected the arm. It looks like I haven't. Make sure all the rest of the body is selected. And then it's H. It's taken part of the arm away, I think, from the looks of it. If I just go back, yeah, I can just see there. So it's not really that important, but I'm just going to deselect that part there, then press H, because I've got the arm. And then we can actually get a clear view of the hand. So what I'm going to do, just like before, like we did with the arm, select all the vertexes, press E, extrude, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to scale that out, like so. G just to kind of move it. I check on the other side now, just to make sure that it's not actually going in a funny direction. It looks okay. It's a little bit wide, so I'm just tempted to maybe just bring that in for now, like so, and bring that in like so. And then we can go back, really go and select the vertexes. Sorry, hold on Shift. And then extrude again. So extrude. I'm going to do this in sections, just to be on the safe side. And go with scale. scale that again. There we go. And then extrude. I'm going to take it all the way to, say, where the hand begins. Now, I know it's kind of sloped there, but I want to kind of just keep it as simple as possible. So I'm just going to keep it right there. Let's have a look at the side view. That's still looking all right. That's fine. And we're ready to put the fingers in. But here's the thing. We're going to need 3 fingers, which means we're going to have to put some edge loops in there, or loop cut. So I'm going to bring the body back. And the reason I'm saying bring the body back is that if you put in some edge loops in, it does have a tendency to miss it out. So it like isolates the body, so it doesn't actually include the edge loop. So just watch out for that. And what we're going to do is going to go Control and R. We'll bring one in there like so. Control and R. Bring in another edge loop there like so. So we should have like 3 edge loops there. That's all looking all right. I might be tempted to maybe even put an edge loop in going that way as well. Just so we've got all bases covered, as it were. Okay. In fact, shall I do that? Or shall I leave that? I might leave that for the time being. Just undo that. If you're following this, folks, just undo that a second. So I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to give this hand a bit more shape. So I'm going to select these vertexes and just bring them in a little bit, like so. I want this a little bit more square. So again, same on the other side. And before I put those edge loops in, what I want to do is, and this is where it's a little bit tricky. Okay, so I'm going to take fingers, but I'm going to need gaps in between the fingers. So if you look at your own fingers, the fingers aren't just joined completely at the base. There's like a bit of a gap, isn't like a web, and then the next finger begins. So what I want to do is, probably the best method to do this is to create an insert. And I can just do that either by using the tools over here, somewhere there, insert or insert faces, or just press I. Bring that in a wee bit like that. Then do the same with the other faces. It'll save a lot more bother down the road than not doing it. So I just seem to be struggling a bit with that. Let's just try that again. I select this. If it lets me. I'm doing this with a pen, so it might be that it's just not quite at the right angle. Try that again. I think it's created like a double insert there. Right, with the mouse instead. Mouse is probably better. There we go. Right, so we've got those insets. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to extrude out from those fingers. So we can do it like this actually. Go and shift select, and then go to the side there, so I'll turn on the X-ray, and then I'm going to go extrude, like so, probably to around about there, and then extrude again, probably to around about there. Now, the basics of the fingers there. We want to kind of like give them a little bit of character, so I'm going to select, well, I'm going to come out of the X-ray mode, select one, I'm going to bring that in like so. We bring in a little bit more. Now, if you want to select the edges, you can select one edge, select Shift and Alt and click, and it'll actually select all the surrounding edges there as well. So you can actually do that as well. And then the fingers I'm going to taper down. So I'm going to go scale just to sort of taper those down a wee bit. And same thing with this. I'm going to just move that forward a little bit, say something like that. Now, generally, your middle finger is a little bit longer as well. So I'm tempted to just grab that and bring that down a little bit like that. I know this is like a little cartoon type character, but again, just trying to apply the same principles. And then just scale that down as well, just so it tapers. And then this is actually going to be like a little finger, so I'm tempted to just scale a lot of this down as well. So scale that down a little bit more. I'm going to go and select the edge, Shift and Alt, and scale that down like so. And then do the same thing with this one as well. Let's try that again. It's not doing it for some reason. And then scale that one down. So now we've kind of got like a little finger there. That's all looking all right. Don't worry about this little step. We're going to smooth all this out, so that will be looking all right. I just want to have a look at the thumb now. So the thumb is going to, it looks like it's going to kind of come out from these four faces here. So that'll be quite tricky to do. I'm going to go and select these faces like so. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go E to extrude and then bring that out, or to rotate, S to scale. I'll maybe just take that back a wee bit and then just go and extrude that again. Extrude, rotate, move that down a wee bit, move it in, scale it, extrude again. Again, same thing, move that down to there, scale that down a little bit. So that's definitely looking more thumb-like. Yeah. It's still looking quite blocky. So what we're going to do is we already did that with the body. So what we're looking to do here is also probably put another subdivision in there, I think, as well. I think it might do well to do that. Or maybe we'll just leave that just for the time being. I think what I'm going to do is we go back to vertex mode. Let's go back to the X-ray mode. I'm going to go Shift and select all of these here. And just select all these vertexes that belong to the body. Let's just zoom in a little bit. There we go. All right. And then press H. Go and hide that. Now I want to pick that, hit one of the vertexes and go A to select the entire thing. And then what we're going to do is we're going to apply this smooth. I just want to kind of see, again, this just takes a little bit of experimentation. Oh, looks like I've, a second, looks like I've hidden the end of the thumb. So let's just go and deselect that. Right, let's try that again. Right, A to select it, and make sure I'm not selecting anything else. And then just try and smooth it out, and just see, you've got to experiment a little bit with this stuff, and just make sure that you're not, you've got everything you kind of need shape-wise. So this could take a little bit of experimentation. It's actually looking all right. I was thinking about putting a subdivision down the edge there. But again, it might be all right. I think you could, it's like how far do you go? You continue to kind of drop endless edge loops in, but we are going to be subdividing it and then remeshing it anyway. So I think it might be all right, all said and done. But again, it's an option for you if you wanted to kind of go that far. But we're going to keep it low poly, I think, for now. So Alt and H, and that now brings us the body, the arm, and the hands. And that's a nice stop for this part of the video. The next part, we're going to be creating the legs. So I shall see you then. Okay, so in this part of the video, we're going to be having a look at extruding the leg out. So let's move up on the smooth tool and go to the move tool. Let's have a look at this leg. Now the leg, it appears, by going to face mode, it looks to be coming out, what would you say, something like kind of there. I guess from there, that's kind of like the hip area. So from that area, extruding down, and then from there. So that's probably like a safe bet. So let's have a go, see how it comes out, and then if we need to make any alterations, we can do. So I'm going to go extrude, probably just a little bit, not a lot, and then scale. Oh, for this part, sorry, I forgot to mention, we'll probably take off clipping just for now, and then scale like so. The clipping basically joins these edges together. So we can have a look at maybe joining these up. It's not a big deal afterwards. So we'll do that anyway. Bring those out to there. Extrude again. Scale. Just move that around like so. And extrude again. Scale. Rotate. And just kind of grab and move that around. So we've got some really nice shape building up there. If you are concerned about, stuff like with these, we can, again, don't worry about it. We can take care of that at the end. Once we've kind of like finish with the mirror, we can close it down and close this up. Okay. So let's go and select those faces again. Make sure you're not selecting anything else. Extrude all the way down to there. And move that to there. If you want to add some more subdivisions, then you can. Control and R. Maybe there. There. Then we're just going, oops, we'll go and select. Go into the faces, shift and select all those faces. There. And then we'll just go and extrude it down again. So E to extrude. Will be scale, S to scale it up. We're going to put another subdivision in there. I keep saying subdivision, it's loop cut, but effectively it's a subdivision. And then just scale that up like so. Then go and select the faces like before, making sure that you're not selecting anything else. E to extrude. I'm going to turn on the X-ray tool as well because we're going to need to kind of see the shape on this. And rotate that. I'm going to add some loop cuts or subdivisions, as I keep saying. And scale to some shape. Sometimes it can kind of go a little bit wild. It might be to do with the settings on my pen. So I'm just going to use the, I'm just going to use the mouse instead. You can get a little bit more control with that. He says, let's move that to the left. Let's zoom in a little bit more. Just scale that. And just highlight these, scale these. That's not looking too bad. Okay. And then just move back. So hopefully, yeah, that's not looking too bad. That again, we'll smooth this out when we're finally finished. But that is looking not too bad. Now we have got a bend going on with the just like with the arm, with the legs as well. So I can do the same thing again. We can select all these parts of the, depending on how you want to do it, maybe select the faces and select the body there. Oops. Again, shift and select, and shift and select the hand. Like so, we can like deselect this part of the leg, holding down Control, like so. So it's just the leg that's isolated. And I think that's looking all right. That's just the leg that it's got, nothing else. And then we do the same thing again, H. We can just hide that. And then what we've got now is room to basically maneuver this leg. So I'm just going to go and select that. Probably rotate it. So we'll go R to rotate. G, kind of move that to say there. Again, we go to edge mode with this actually. Edge mode and just sort of move that, say something like that. And again, use your own judgment, but something like that, say. So the top of the legs are actually quite skinny, not like it would be on a normal human being. But this is a kind of fantasy character, so it's got quite sort of thick calves, but that's not looking too bad. And then if you want to, you can just hit R, sorry, R. You can hit A, go through to our smooth tool, and then we could just try and smooth all of this out, just so it's got a bit more of a naturalistic look about it. Just take it off with X-ray mode. You can see there, it's way better than it was. A bit more maybe, something like that. Then if we press Alt and H, bring the rest of the body back. And we've got our body, arms, hands, and legs. And not looking too bad. Of course, we'll take care of that little hole a little bit later. Other than that, that's it for this part of the video. In the next part of the video, we're going to be tackling the feet. Okay, so let's have a look at tackling the feet. And we'll need to do a few things here. So let's go into side mode. And I can see that we've got a little bit of an issue going on here. That could probably do with being flattened a little bit. So I'm going to go into the vertex mode, select those vertexes, and just bring those up a little bit, just so we've got a bit more control. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to extrude out. So we go back into X-ray mode. We can go and hit G and just maneuver that up a little bit. Highlight these, hit G, maneuver those up a little bit, or just use the move tool. And then I'm going to go and extrude down from where I've selected there to say something like that. And we're going to add some subdivisions in. Again, if we can look on the back there, we could probably extrude out from that. So I'm going to go and select the faces and maybe just off of that a second. So it's probably going to be so the ones next to these ones. So it'll be these ones here. So I just shift and select all of these like so. We could even try and like move them out and play around with the vertexes. That could be instead of extruding, we could do that. So instead of going down that route of just trying to extrude everything, we can move these down and actually move these out and then actually give it shape. Probably a more useful way of trying to deal with it like that. Not looking too bad. And then we've got the side, the rest of the what to do. So we could probably move that out to there. We can put some subdivisions in between all of that. Move that out to there. Same thing with that. Same thing with that. It's probably going to look quite thin. Again, we can remedy that. Control and R to put a subdivision in there, say something like that. And then what we can do is we can then try and expand it out. So probably select, shift and select these vertexes. Maybe that one. And we can move that out like so. And then sort of move these in. And again, a lot of this stuff is trial and error, so you're just trying things out. Some of it doesn't work, some of it does. There are lots of different kind of methods for doing stuff like this, but it really is about trying things out, seeing what works, and then go from there. So look, giving it some shape, isn't it? Let me just take it out of that X-ray mode. We've got a bit of a sort of strange issue going on here. I think I've gone over. Lost one of the vertexes, so I'm going to bring that out. Bring some of these out. Because the last thing you need is overlapping. And I might be tempted just to maybe even sculpt some of these just to kind of like give it a bit more of a shape, or even use it. Could even use the smooth tool again, but let me just get that general overall shape going on there. Oops, not that one. That. Okay, we can maybe try and move that out. Let's have a look at doing these as well. We're going to look to try and smooth this out with the smooth tool. So I'll go and select all of that, take it off the X-ray mode. Might even actually just go back to X-ray mode. I might even just shift and select and just do that part of the ankle. Let's see if we can get any joy with this. It's a bit more like it, isn't it? Just gives it a bit more shape. And I might go and do that as well. Try and smooth that out. Not looking too bad. Maybe just do this part as well. And not looking too shabby. There's a bit here on the heel where I might want to just do that section there. Maybe just leave that out there. I just want to concentrate on that bit of the ankle. See what that does. A little bit. No, it's not looking too bad. Not looking too bad at all. Again, not going to get too concerned about in the perfect shape because, as I mentioned before, we're going to be taking care of that. But we've done that anyway, and I want to just try now and expand that out, as you can see, because they're quite wide feet. So now I've kind of got that general overall shape. What I want to do is I'll probably look to make all of this disappear. So we're just left with the feet. So press H to hide, like that. And then let's have a look at seeing if we can use the scale tool and just kind of widen those. Maybe try and rotate that as well. It looks like we're pointing in a little bit. Okay, let's see what that looks like. Alt H. See if there are any conflicts. I think that's might be looking all right as it stands. And I think that's looking all right for now. So we've done that. We've got the body, we've got the arms, the hands, the legs, and the feet. So I think we're ready to kind of close up on this now. So what I'm going to do is the last part of the video is I'm going to, in object mode, I'm going to apply that now. So the mirror's gone. I want to try and join this up. If we're going to the edit mode now, I want to look to see if I can just connect these up if possible. So go into the edge mode and shift select and F and then drop some edge loops in there. I'll connect these up. And then one there. Now, for some reason it's not connected up, so not to panic. All I need to do is go to vertex mode, and what I can do is just press M and merge at center, and do the same with the rest of them. Make sure you don't select any of the vertexes, or else you'll end up with some funny connections. Okay. And with any luck, we can just connect up these sides then. Just go to there, shift, select, and fill, F for fill. Do the same on the other side. Oops. Again. Again. There we go. So we've got that connected up there. We've got the whole body. So that basically brings this part of the video to a close. In the next part, we're just going to look at giving it a general look over. We're going to drop some eyes in there, a couple of cubes for the teeth. Not going to bother with the ears. Then we're going to look at just putting a couple of modifiers on there, and then going through to remeshing. So that's it. I'll see you in the next part of the video. Now, this seems like a perfect point just at this stage, just as a reminder for you to save this project. Now, ideally, you need to kind of save it really at the beginning of the project, but let's just go and save it now. I'm going to call this, I'm calling this character Gomp, so I'll just call it Gomp 2. I'm just going to go and save it on my desktop. So again, you don't want all that work to be lost that you've done. All right, so we've got our little character there. We've still got a few bits to do to it, but we're going to look at the shape overall. We're going to give it a look over. You want to make sure there's no kind of like manifold geometry there, so you haven't got anything crossing over that shouldn't be there. That's an absolute no-no. I can see something. I'm not sure. That looks a little bit funny there. If I go into the face mode, it looks like there's a bit of stray geometry going on. I'm just going to go and delete that faces. And it may be that when I was kind of connecting it up, it selected another one. So again, this is why it's good just to kind of check. So I'm just going to go and select that edge, F to fill, and that's it. So I'm just going to go hit A again. So again, just check it over. This could cause problems kind of down the line. If if you're not careful, that's kind of it looked to be all right. Okay. If you want to kind of try and add a bit more smoothness to it, you can do. Go down to that little smooth tool and give that another once over where you can see that they're kind of giving a bit more of a kind of organic look about it. Again, it sort of flattens out a lot of those kind of edges, which is good. Again, save that, Control and S to save. Right, we're going to have a look at putting some spheres on there. So let's come out of that tool and let's have a look at dropping some spheres in. So we're going to do that by holding down Shift and A, Mesh and UV Sphere. I'm going to bring that up. Now it needs scaling down, of course. I'm going to hit S to scale, like so. I'm going to turn on the X-ray again, so I can actually see what we're doing. Now it's more important for this than you can match it with this, but it's a lot more important for the geometry to intersect with the other geometry. So it's probably best that it really sits in there, because when it comes to remeshing it, you don't want the eye being up there, because it's not going to remesh very well. You'll end up with all kinds of issues. But that's not looking too bad. Now, in order to kind of do the other eye, you could copy it, or you can use a modifier. So go to Modifier, Generate, Mirror, and then from there, it's already set on the X-axis. Select the little eyedropper, and then we're going to mirror it on this object. So click on that, and hey presto, you've got your other eye. Now, I know that looks a little bit off from where we are, but that is actually symmetrical on the model. So I'm going to go and apply that. Now, still looking sort of quite blocky. You can, obviously, we're going to add another modifier to kind of smooth this out. At this stage, you could even just as a test, go right click and go shade smooth. And that might give you an idea of like, what your geometry is looking like and if it's looking okay. Do the same thing with the spheres as well, shade smooth. That's looking all right. A couple of things, well, one more thing we can do before we, oh, sorry, yes, almost forgot, we're going to put the teeth in, haven't we? So let's have a look at creating another cube. So Shift and A, mesh, cube, scale that down. And we'll bring that up. Now he's got kind of funny teeth, hasn't he? So I'm going to move that over there. So something like there, scale it down like so. Let's just turn on the X-ray. Say something like that. And then I'm going to, I'm not sure if you can see it on your screen, but it's quite faint. Shift and D. So I've copied that. And I'm going to scale that a little bit down a little bit to there, down a little bit more. And then we can copy it again. Shift and D. And this is the smaller tooth there. Pop out of X-ray. I can see where they're sitting. So kind of looking all right. I might want to just kind of maneuver these a little bit. Again, it's just more important that they actually just sit within the geometry. Now, if you were modeling this as in like you weren't intending to sculpt it, but actually have it as a model to unwrap and animate, then you probably would look to extrude all these things, I guess, out from from the geometry. You can have some things as separate, that's fine, but you'd be looking to integrate a lot of this together if possible. Anyway, that's looking all right. What we're going to do is now we're going to shift and join these things together. So I'm just going to go shift and select all that and the tooth, Control and J to join, like so. We can just have a look and see about applying a modifier, generate and go subdivision surface. And what this will do, this is really a good sort of indication of what you could potentially end up with there. It looks like that might not have joined. Let me just go back a second then. Oh, those teeth. Those teeth. Maybe what I need to do with the teeth is if I just go undo what I've done and just see about applying maybe some, if I go and say, just select those, add some subdivisions there, maybe that's the issue. If I go down there to the bottom, I'm not sure if you can see that just underneath where I've got the keys. Let's freeze that maybe two, or yeah, do it to like maybe three, and then do the same with the other ones as well. Maybe that might be the issue. I don't know. And again, subdivide that. Do the same thing again. Subdivide. Okay, we'll see if that worked any better. So I'm going to Shift and select all of these, Control and J. Add the modifier. It doesn't matter if it doesn't work out because we can just sculpt into it anyway. We're going to go to subdivision surface. Oh, that's better. And then we could maybe take that up to around about 2, maybe. And that gives a good indication if there's anything kind of going on, then it'll make it abundantly clear to us if there's any kind of gaps in the geometry where they'd be. Now we've got this kind of poking out there. I'm not too concerned about that because we can build up with that when we remesh it. I think that's looking all right. And then all we need to do now is we're going to apply that. And we're going to go into remeshing this now. And I can do this one of two ways. You can go down to the data object properties and do it that way. The little kind of tab, if you go all the way down to remesh, and you can basically do the voxel sizes there and then go into sculpting. That's one way of doing it anyway. Just to show you as an example, go to the voxel size there and then type in, say, something like, we could go for maybe 0.01, 0.01 maybe, hit enter and then go voxel remesh. Let's see what that does. So now you can see there, we've kind of lost a little bit of that smoothness, but we can just smooth that out anyway. If I go and hit the edit key now, you'll see, well, obviously it's not, although it's joined, it's not combined for some reason at the moment, but well, there we go. I think it has. I think it was just highlighted for some reason. But we can remesh it again. If there's any part of it that's not like joined, then you can always remesh it. Make sure it's joined, but that's not looking too bad there. That's one way of doing it anyway. Let me just go and undo that. Okay. Another way of doing it is if you then, with the model selected, go into object mode and sculpt mode. You can do it this way, and a lot of the people you'll see online do this, where you've got your model, and then what they'll do is they'll go Control and they'll go R at the bottom, and they'll actually play around. You can actually see a visual representation there. So if I just come out of that a second, I'll come right to the front view. So if I press R, you can see it's like, obviously the further I'm moving my mouse over to the left. Obviously that's going up in size. So that's 0.8, 0.9. Now where was I before? I was about 0.1, wasn't I? So 0.01, should I say, which was roughly around about there. Something like that. Yeah. So that's quite fine. You can't actually, I can see it from here, but it's very, very fine. So what you do is you kind of set it like that, say there, and then what you do is you press Control and R, and then you remesh it from there. Either way works. It's entirely up to you. I think for people who do like sculpting in Blender online, it's a quicker way of doing it because otherwise you have to kind of go back into the layout view, into to the modeling view, do it like that. So either way will work. I'm just going to leave it like that. So we've done that. That's pretty much there for the time being. I'm going to bring this part of the video to a close. In the next part of the video, which is be the final part of the video, we're going to do a little bit of sculpting with the character and a bit of painting and light it and do a render of it, and then we're going to bring it to a close. But if you got this far, well done. If you just kind of still trying to kind of work it out and catch up, that's fine. You're doing very well so far. And yeah, we'll see you in the next part of the video. Okay, so we're at this part of the video. Now, one of the things that I didn't mention is there may be some issues when it comes through to the transformations. And what I mean by that is if we start trying to sculpt on this, if I go into, say, the Timmetry mode there, now in this instance, it seems to be okay. It seems to be, the Timmetry seems to be working. But sometimes you might find that the Timmetry is off, and even though you got it on there, you've got like a dot there, maybe a dot over there. If you do happen to have that issue with your model, all you'd need to do is go back to the object mode with the model selected, go to Object, and first of all, set origin and origin to geometry. That would be the first thing. Then the second thing would be Object, Apply, and then all transformations. I seem to have lost my. Oh, right, it's gone right back to the center there. Anyway, it's changed it on mine, but that's what you should end up looking like. But then when you go back to the sculpt mode and you go on there, you'll see that should be my right, pretty much in the center. If it isn't, again, you might want to just go to set origin to geometry. There we go. And then go back to sculpt mode. Yeah, that's looking better. I think it was a little bit off. So that can happen from time to time. So just remember that when you're doing that, if it's not being symmetrical, that will be the reason. Anyway, let's get through to doing some packing. So I've been through some of these tools anyway with the sculpting. So don't necessarily need to kind of go through that again. We're going to use something like clay strips and F to scale the brush down. I'm going to have a look at this lip first. So I'm not going to do a huge amount of sculpting with this. I just really want to just accentuate this lip. Again, remember, if you hold down Shift, you can actually smooth a lot of this out as well. So again, I just want to kind of create that like your lip, isn't it, really? It's not really a yaw, it's a lip. Big old lip. And then sort of scale this out. Depending on like the level of detail you want to go to as well, you can always increase it. So I had it at 0.01. You could then take it down another step to 0.009, and or if you go 0.008 and so on and so forth, it gets finer and finer and finer. But a word to the wise is that you don't want to go too far with it because you could end up basically crashing the program, depending on what kind of graphics card you've got, what kind of computer you've got. It can get a little bit too much for it, so it's just something to bear in mind. Anyway, back to the sculpting. Incidentally, if you hold down a control whilst on the clay strips, you can actually go inward as well, so you can actually use it in reverse. That's not looking too bad as it goes. I might just go to the draw sharp and just bring that around like so. And again, this is just a demo, so I'm not, you could really kind of go to town and spend a long time, hours on this. We don't have hours, do we? As long as you got the basic principles, then it's then you can sort of take it from there. All right, so we kind of got that there like so. Smooth that out a little bit. Smooth that out. Generally, we've got it. It's still got a bit of a residue with the from the from the faces. So you can just smooth this out. Hold down Shift, and actually at this stage it smooths out really nicely. If you've got symmetry turned on as well, that will really help to actually do the other side as well. But be careful with the strength. You don't want it to be too strong, but otherwise you can end up actually destroying part of your model if you're not careful. So it's just something to bear in mind. Like that, but that's not looking too bad. You'll notice it when it comes to painting it. If there are any if you've not sort of smoothed it out okay. All right. So I think we're about there with it. So done that. Got that lip in there. Just going to press F and just scale that down a wee bit. With the teeth, you can maybe use the scrape tool. I'm going to take it off symmetry because this is asymmetrical. And then maybe just scale it up a little bit. Get the strength up a little bit, and you can add a bit of a kind of bevel to it. You make it a bit more chiseled. That's the word I was looking for, chiseled. Something like that. Not looking too bad. And then do the other tooth. Again, it's just about adding character to your character. Same thing with this. You just don't want them looking like cubes. There we go. And then go back to that other tool there, the draw sharp tool. Okay, not looking too bad. And again, you can just keep going and going and going with it. But that's it with that. With the eyes, I'm not going to stick with the eyes of it. I want to kind of give the character a bit more personality. So I'm going to turn symmetry back on. I want to kind of put some eyelids, so kind of make him look like a bit more like a cool dude. So I'm just going to, or a bit more chilled. He looks a bit startled in that image. So I'm going to do something like that. Now, also as a little tip, if you don't want to affect part of the eyeball, you could use the masking tool. Make sure that the brush is on sharp, so turn the hardness right up. And then what we can do here is size that down. We can basically mask this on. So it's a bit like putting tape on there or some kind of spray. So wherever you put this masking, the sculpting will not touch it. If you want to kind of sharpen up the edges as well, you can do that. And you can do that by holding down Control and then just basically go back up. It's almost like rubbing the lines out. So like something like that. It's not too bad. So then when we go back to, say, using the clay strips, look at the top, it's not going to touch it. So you don't have to worry about affecting the eyeball itself. So same thing with that. It'll be a bit more pronounced, you see. There we go. And I quite like the kind of the creases on here, but it might be a little bit too much. So you might want to hit the strength of that down, hold down Shift, and maybe just kind of even these out a bit. You know, it's a little bit too intense. There's a lot of stuff you can actually do with painting. You don't necessarily need to sculpt every single aspect of this. That's not looking too bad. If you want to then take away the masking, go back to the masking, and then zoom in, Control, and then just literally wipe it all out. Like so. And that's it. Of course, you could continue going and going and going with this, but we're not going to do that because obviously we're a little bit past the hour now. I just want to get to the last part now, which is the painting. So you can stay within sculpting, scroll all the way down. You'll see there the paintbrush and a little finger symbol there for smear. It's a bit like the paintbrush, say, and the smudge you get in, say, Procreate or in Photoshop. So let's give our character some color. I'm going to go and select the brush. Zoom out a little bit. Now, one of the things you can do at the top here, where you've got your color palette, it's set on black at the moment. Just take that up. I don't know why it has that as default, but it does. You can use the color picker tool there and go and select the color there. You can see there now we've got our orange. So let's fill this in like so. This bit is really, really easy. I mean, obviously not necessarily painting, but you know, just this last part of it. Paint that in. And underneath. And we might want to kind of then go in with a lighter color. So I could maybe just go use that eyedropper tool and try and pick a lighter bit of that. See if that works. And maybe take the strength down a wee bit. Might just make that a bit lighter. And then I really want that to be yellow. So I'm going to go there. You could just use the eyedropper tool again, but it might be a little bit muted. Let's have a look. It's not too bad, but it's a little bit muted. So let's take that up to yellow there. See if that makes it any better. It's just got a little bit more oomph. Okay, something like that. Maybe just add some. Again, play around with the strength. Have some on the eyes. A little bit on the hands. A bit on the knees, a bit on the feet. And if you want to put it on the back, you can do as well. But that's pretty much it for that. And then if you want to kind of like blend it a little bit, this is where the smear tool comes in. So you can basically just kind of smudge it really. I don't know why it calls it smear. It's more smudging. It's like the smudge tool you get in Procreate or Photoshop. So we'll just kind of smudge those. Smudge that. And smudge that. there. And then all the stuff to do really now is we'll just do the eyes. So back to the paint tool. We'll put that on white. We'll put that dead in the center. And we will turn the strength up on that. And we'll paint the eyes in. I might just take the size of that brush down a wee bit. So that's we'll maybe do the teeth as well. I've left the. I've just realised I've left the symmetry on. Doesn't matter. I think it worked out anyway. So I'll just take it off that there. Okay, and then you can use the smudge tool, get rid of any kind of like nasty edges there, just kind of blend it a little bit. Same on the other side as well. Okay, not looking too bad. And then we'll just put some eyes in. Or eyeball, pupil, should I say. What we do is got some kind of funny looking eyes. They're quite close together, aren't they? So I'm going to turn on symmetry again. And it's almost kind of boz-eyed. And then it's going to take the symmetry off. I'm going to add a little highlight now. Little reflection on the eyeball. Put one there like so. Another one there like that. And then we've got our little character. And just to finish off, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a little backdrop and light it. So we can go back to the object mode. Let's just move these out of the way. I'm going to create another plane, Shift and A, mesh and plane. Scale that up like so. And then copy that, Shift and D, and R, Z, sorry, not 90, R, Y, again, R, X, 90, hit enter, like so. Copy that again, R, Z, 90. Put that in there. Ooh, slightly off-piste. Bring that in a little bit. There we go. Right. Now, problem we've got is this is the last one. It's not a problem, but it's just a problem you'll face if you don't do this next part. If you go through to the viewport shading here, you'll see there's no texture, there's no paint, and that's because the information isn't there on the shader. It's easily remedied though. All we need to do is, first of all, I'm just going to duplicate that, and we can move that in like so. For the time being, maybe change that to 500. There we are. I'll take that one off as well as a shadow. Right, is we go through to shading, and I'm not seeing any nodes there. So let's just go back to layout, select the character. So it looks like we have a material. We do have a material. It's probably because I didn't have it selected. Now, if you go back to the shading, you should see it there. And so what it's missing is color attributes. So, and you'll see it happen in real time. It's really, really easy. What we do is we go Shift and A, and in the search, type in color, as in COLOR, and it's color attribute. You should see it there. It's the American version of color. Click on that there. So bring up a little node. All we need to do is connect color up to the base color for our principled BSDF. And hey presto, we've got our character. So there we are. Let's go back to the layout, and you'll see now lit in all of its glory. Let's bring that up a little bit. Right, so, and not looking too bad. Casting a little shadow there. Light could be a little bit strong. Could maybe just, I don't know, actually it looks all right. We'll do a little shot now with the character with his shadow. So in order to do that, we'll need to go to Edit and Preferences, and then in the input, so emulate numpad. Now this is only for those of you who have laptops. I think if you've got a PC with a number pad, you shouldn't need to do this, but I'm going to need to do this for mine. So select that, out of that, and then press 0. Now, basically, we are now seeing through the camera. Don't touch anything. The only thing you should touch is N, the little side panel there. Go to View, and then Camera to View. That's it. So now it's locked off. If I hit N again now everywhere we go within this area, it's looking through the camera. So all we need to do really now is just pick a view that looks pretty good, something like that. Looks all right. And then once you've kind of got your shot, maybe even, shall we maybe even just rotate this character a little bit so he's looking more towards the camera, if that's indeed possible. He's a bit cross-eyed, isn't he? But anyway, so we'll say something like that. And once you're happy with that, all you need to do is hit F12, and hey presto, you've got your character lit, painted, modeled, remeshed, and ready to go. So hopefully you found that tutorial helpful. And yeah, if there's any point in any part of this that you don't understand, just rewind, go over the steps again. If any parts of it are not working out, the best thing to do is just go back and repeat the steps. There's a good chance you probably just missed out a step or two along the way. But anyway, hopefully you found that helpful, and good luck. And I look forward to seeing what you produce next week. Okay, that's it. Take care. Bye for now.